I have been thinking about how I should make this video about chibi reviews because successfully you have lived rent free in my head for quite some time, and it is not out of something bad you've done. As a matter of fact, I personally don't think you've done anything truly bad, even enough to warrant a call out video or anything of that variety. This is more of a personal video. So, before a single word of critique leaves my mouth, I gotta establish a bedrock of human decency, fundamental human decency. This is a no man's land that should not be crossed. This video, my audience, is not an invitation for harassment. I'm begging you to not do that. This is not a validation for anyone to send a single, not a single one, hateful comment or a threatening message or even a vaguely negative critique towards chibi reviews. This is personal, and it just I want to get this video out. Chibi Reviews has navigated a level of personal hell that most of us cannot fathom. I had the profound, gut-wrenching tragedy of losing a very close personal family member, an event that shatters an entire person's world permanently, compounded by the deeply violating, cowardly act of being doxxed and having his personal life ripped open and splayed out for the internet's gawking masses. I do not wish for anything bad to happen to Chibi. I don't. These are scars that do not fade. To weaponize this critique into further abuse against him would be a monstrous act, and I want no part of it. I don't. My grievance is not with his right to exist, but with the specific grading frequency on which he chooses to broadcast that existence. That is my personal grievance. So let's start. Let's start with the very oppositely, the part that I genuinely, unironically, and firmly respect. The man's ideological fortress and his chosen battlefield. So I hate the digital puritanism of the world. I do. I despise it. And despite my grievances with a lot of the Alali community that I have, I still think they have the right to absorb any content they want to. I do. I think you have the right to do as you wish. Chibi, you stand as a stubborn, unmovable boulder in the river of sanitized content. That's what you are. Your core thesis is brutally simple and logically consistent, and fundamentally, I think is correct. You believe you can draw, you cannot draw an arbitrary hypothetical line in the sand, right? Either expression is free or it is not. The platforms that will gladly monetize real-world violence, toxic harassment, and political disinformation while simultaneously flagging a cartoon character's exposed thigh as harmful are engaged in a grotesque, illogical pantomime. I get it. I know that. I believe your war against this censorship at its philosophical heart is a righteous one. I think you're smart about it. I think it's great. I think your defense of artistic freedom, of stylistic impression and expression, and a rejection of a patronizing, one-size-fits-all digital morality. I think your unwavering, almost belligerent commitment to this principle has earned my undying respect. I think that is true. I think you have chosen your hill, a hill covered in obviously anime posters and figurines of questionable proportions. I think that you're willing to die on it. And in a lot of people, there's a lot of spineless backtracking and corporate-approved activism. I think your brutal, ugly, but undeniable integrity is refreshing. I think it's outstanding. I think your unapologetic openness about your specific and fervent appreciation for the anime female form is also strangely a point of raw honesty and a place of performative virtue. You make no pretenses. You're not positioning your channel as some high-minded academic deconstruction of postmodern narrative tropes in shonen manga. You are a man who is vocally, proudlessly, and relentlessly horny for a specific fictional aesthetic. And that's great. I think it's great. I think it's cringe, 100% to the vast majority of the population. Absolutely, but that is not a crime. In fact, your refusal to be shamed for it, to instead plant your flag deep in the ground and declare, this is my preference, this is my brand, and I will not be socially pressured into feigning embarrassment. Kind of a power move. Not gonna lie, a little bit of a glaze on my end, but that's very a power move. I think you have taken the very ammunition your detractors would use to mock you and forged it into steel for your own armor. You got, even if you disagree, you have to acknowledge the sheer, stubborn, almost admirable force of will that requires. That's just amazing. I think that's amazing. However, and this is a however of seismic proportions, a continental divide where my respect plummets into a canyon of pure, unadulterated, sensory offending cringe. We arrive at the execution. So it's not what you fight for, right? It's how you fight for it, Chibi. Your entire curated personality, your on-screen essence, is that of a festering, screeching goblin. Not a charming, folklorist trickster goblin, but the kind you'd find fuming in a damp, dark cave, hurling its own filth at the walls and shrieking incoherently about a shiny object it feels entitled to. Your energy is one of relentless grating, performative agitation. Every sentence you speak, every tweet you have, feels like it's being blasted through a damaged amplifier directly into the core of my prefrontal cortex. There is no tonal modulation, no quiet, confident assertion of your principles, only the sustained, high-pitched whine of someone who has fundamentally mistaken sheer volume for rhetorical validity and perpetual performative outrage for a compelling personality. I think you have no sauce, Chibi, if you could fathom that. You give me an ick. And the ick you inspire in me is primal. It's gut level rejection of your entire vibrational output. I think it's the way you seem to stew in your own contrarian brine. How your identity is constructed not just around a cause, but by being the most aggravated, most vocal, most annoyingly persistent champion of that cause. You don't just deliver an argument. You embody a neurological disturbance. You're the human equivalent of listening to someone noisily sloop directly in my ear while simultaneously explaining your worldview with no nuance. It's strange. And I respect you die on the hill. I really do. I just think you have no aura. And this leads to the great frustrating tragedy of your entire platform. You have commandeered a genuinely crucial and nuanced conversation about censorship, artistic liberty, and corporate overreach. And I think it's important to have voices in the space. I think it's impressive to have this, but I think you're the worst person for it. I just think you do. I think you swaddled it in a package so aesthetically repulsive, so intellectually abrasive, that it becomes a Herculean task for anyone not already a part of your loyal goblin platoon to take the underlying message seriously. You are effectively your own movement's worst public relations disaster. And I think that's the issue. Because you don't persuade people or the undecided or the skeptical. You actively repel them, right? Because upon doing more research about you, I've discovered you have done no grave offense in any capacity. You haven't. You have maybe some boyfriend allegations where something bad happened with your partner, where maybe you were being a bit unfaithful, but that's I can't confirm or deny any of that. I really can't. You don't win hearts or minds. You simply confirm the pre-existing biases of those who are all too ready to dismiss your entire society as a congregation of screaming, terminally online male children with no sense of social decorum. That is what you are. That is what happens. It's the reality of it. And this is so wild, because by embodying the most extreme, unpolished, and aggravating caricature of an anti-censorship advocate, you make it easy for the opposition to dismiss the entire argument. You are somehow such a detriment to this. They don't have to engage with the complex ethics of platform governance or the slippery slope of content moderation where everybody is being stalked and purveyed on. They can simply point to you and say, you see, this is what they're all like. You have become the perfect straw man, a gift-wrapped justification for your opponents to ignore the substantive issues entirely. You're not just annoying. I think it's politically counterproductive to the very cause that you claim to champion. And it's so baffling to me because I never so rarely have issues in this capacity. I don't even hate you. I don't know you personally. I have no clue who you are. I think back in the day, you were one of the two people reviewing Toriko, and I watched you review Toriko, and I appreciated your reviews of it. Your reactions were nice. With King of Lightning, King of Lightning was the other person as well, and you were just mispronouncing Guinness. You pronounced his name Genesis, the Wolf King. I know you remember that. If I don't know if you're ever gonna see it, but you mispronounced the name. That's all I remember from you. You mispronounced Guinness as Genesis, which agitated me a little. Not gonna lie, it did, but that's not a crime. I think you just have a lot of one-note performances that completely obliterates any sense of like multi-dimensional humanity. I don't believe in my core that you are a malicious or evil person. I suspect, this is a guess, this is not me psychoanalyzing you, that you may be a person that may have been bullied or not loved for your views in the past and had to hide them. You understandably clutched onto a community and a crusade that provides you a purpose, and that's good. It gives you identity and a sense of agency, and the world has probably been deeply unfair to you. That's what I imagine. There's a part of me that genuinely sympathizes with that desperate search for solid ground. But I really do understand that it must suck because Elon Musk retweeted your stuff and you're getting a bigger platform on Twitter and you're getting a bunch of followers and people are listening to you. And you got me to think about you relentlessly because of how much you're outraging people. And I respect that because that is a successful grift. It is. But human sympathy not cancel out the sheer overwhelming, so destroying, so flaying annoyance of your seemingly meticulously crafted digital persona. I hate it. I genuinely hate it. The persona that you have, it's mentally and emotionally exhausting. It sucks. And I think that's my biggest gripe. Is just you have no sauce, no aura, no charisma, no nothing. You just don't have anything. Every time I hear you tweet something, it's as if you are purposely playing the biggest victim in the room for nothing. I'm just gonna have to wave a white flag of frustrated, conflicted respect. Because, Chibi, I agree with your foundational premise of your war. I do. Yes, I will defend your right to be a proudly freaky little guy on the internet until my dying breath. The cause you fight for is, in the abstract, just. The battle against censorship is necessary. But my God, man, the way you carry yourself. Oh my God, the corrosive presence you exude, the unhinged, festering goblin core energy that radiates from every frame of your content, and just simply I can hear your voice in the tweets. It's so agitating. You are a valid, if flawed, soldier in the culture war, but you are also unequivocally and undeniably the most insufferable one in the entire damn trench. And I can hold both of these profoundly contradictory truths in my head at the same time. Even if the second one makes me want to sever my own internet connection and flee into the woods. I think that you are annoying. And that is not a crime. And that is not a justification for a personal attack to you. That is not a justification for anybody to harass you or dox you. It is not in any way, shape, or form. But you are utterly sauceless. No aura, no charisma, nothing. I hope you keep up the good fight, but I also hope that you just get better at being a human, because man, it is just not good to watch you. I just don't like it. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. You don't have to watch it. That's what, I don't have to watch you. I don't. But for some reason, I'm not following you on Twitter. As a matter of fact, I'm not following you on YouTube at all. I get recommended your videos all the time. I get recommended your tweets all the time. Don't even know why. Can't tell you. Can't tell you. But in any event, I have no true anger or hate towards you. I just think your presence is an annoying one. That is it. I'm just giving you a critique. Please don't take this as a moment of, well, this guy sucks. You can say that if you want to, but I'm simply critiquing the persona you have curated online. And personally, you're probably a really cool guy. You probably are a great partner. You probably are an amazing person to hang around. Probably a great friend. I don't know. All I see is you be provocative and wacky on the internet, but I'm 100% positive that you're not that all the time. That's actively impossible. I'm seeing one small piece, one very small, very, very, very small piece of an entire person. And that is not a fair justification to critique your entire being. I'm not stupid. I know this. And I don't want any ill will towards you, but I do want to let you know that I do find you very, 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 very annoying. That is all. That's it. Have a lovely day, man. I hope your life gets better. I hope you get to 1 million subscribers, and I hope you get to 1 million Twitter followers, and I hope you keep making money. I really do. Have a good day. Bye.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my Laurel, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you